Is it possible for a man or a woman to know their spouse very well before they get married? The answer is no. You cannot know them 100%, but at least you can know them to above average before you say I do and get married to them. You're supposed to have known what they do as a job, who their family members, and know some things about them, the kind of person they are, before you say I do. And that is when you know if I want to manage this or not. But if you do, or you don't do so, or you do otherwise, who do we blame? If you refuse to find out who a man is, then you marry him and have children for him. Who do we blame? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name remains Real Talk with Auntie Aduni. I want to welcome you. If you have just getting to see this video, why don't you subscribe, put on your notification button, and don't forget to leave a like on the video. And if you are a new subscriber, thank you and welcome, and thank you for subbing to this channel. To my returning subscribers, thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for all we do on this channel in enlightening and educate ourselves. Like I said earlier, if you meet a man or a woman, but because women are more of victim in this kind of case, I'm going to concentrate on women. Maybe the men can tell us if they have similar experience. You meet a man and before you know it, you fall in love, especially if the man is handsome. Us women now, not only handsome, there is something a man will do and you will fall headlong inside that love. All your body, all your sense, everything will fall inside that love. And before you know it, if you are not careful, the red flags, you will begin to ignore them when you see them. And it gets to a stage, if people now get married, or maybe the relationship has gone for a long time, you will see the woman crying out, I didn't know he's this kind of a person, blah, blah, blah. So this is the case of Tonto Dikeh. This is Tonto Dikeh. She's very popular. She's a Nigerian actress, and that is her husband, Churchill, her ex-husband, I'm sorry, and that is the new wife, Rose, who Churchill is married to. There is something that has been going on between all of them, especially between Tonto Dikeh and the ex-husband, Churchill, Olakunle Churchill. Sometimes ago, Tonto Dikeh came out when the marriage broke, and she exploded and gave some explosive interview. Among the things she said in the interview was that the Churchill, that is the ex-husband, is a Yahoo guy. He doesn't have a job particularly. He wants to use their child. Is diabolic, and because of that, she restricted him from seeing the child after their marriage broke up. And to crown it all, she really bruised his ego. She went for his manhood by alleging that the guy is a 2-minute noodle. 30 seconds, or not a minute, not even up to a minute, 40-second man. That is a man that cannot last even for a minute. You should understand what that means, because I want to believe I have adults on my page. So she came out and said all these things, and changed the child's name. I'm just trying to do a recap for those who do not know the genesis of their story. She changed the child's name after the marriage broke up, and she's been calling herself the king. She calls herself king, so that's why she's addressed as King Tonto. All we know is that it is a man that bears a king, while a woman bears a queen. But she said because she's standing in the position of a father, then automatically she has become a king. That is taking the role of the father, which I can agree with her. When you are the one doing it all alone, then you are both the mother and the father. But addressing yourself as a king is what I don't get. And of course, I won't talk on that because that's her opinion. She can bear any name she wants to bear. So it's been kind of crazy between she and the ex-husband. And the son turned 7 of recent. And each time this boy is turning a certain age, there is always issues between them publicly. And I can understand Toto's aspect, because she will feel, especially seeing that the man is celebrating the boy on his page too. For long, the man has not been able to see the child. Whether the guy is a 2-minute noodle, I don't know. Whether it's diabolical, I don't know. But that is what Tonto said. But there are some things I want to bring out in this their issue for young women to learn from. Before I go ahead, I will want us to watch this emotional laden video interview she just granted 2 days ago. It's so full of emotions that if you are not the strong type, you will cry along with her. And I understand her pains to some extent. I'm not feeling the pains. I'm not in the shoes. I've never been in that shoes whereby my child's father will be somewhere and say, I'm not going to be part of the child's life, or for one reason or the other, it cannot be part of the child's life. It's so painful. So I don't know. But I have some questions, but let us watch this video together before I analyze on it.
There was an incident that happened in court. My son was supposed to have come to court. They said my son should come to court. And the day I was supposed to bring my son, it was aware. We were both in court. And they said, you know what? This court has been adjourned. In the next 2 weeks, we need you to come to court with your son. His father was sitting down here. I was sitting down there with my own lawyers. Next 2 weeks, I came to court with my son. Dressed him all up. Proud that he was going to come and see his father. At least his father would see him after such a long time. Churchill did not show up in court for that day. Even the judges asked the lawyers, the man who is here saying he loves his son did not show up on the one day, the one and only day that your son was supposed to be present in court, because they wanted to see how he was faring, how he lose. If it was they wanted to know how I've been taking care of my child. This man did not show up, and he had not seen his child for months before then. This man came to court. I'm sure it's look at the court paper. He came to court, and his lawyers asked the judge to ask me that I was going to be the one to foot his bills to court. After marrying you with my money when I am not an Indian woman, after feeding you, after clothing you, after making you a man, making you who you are, putting you in the public eyes, after everything that I did, you still want to come back and eat my money because you want me to pay for you to come to court. That I should pay his transportation fare. His lawyers were asking for transport. They said I should pay a sum of 250,000 so he'll be able to make it to court. To see his son and to come to court to show for your son to be there. He asked for transportation money. Festus Kiyamo was my lawyer. You can look. I'm calling heavyweight names. I'm not. All this. These are not child's play. These are heavyweights. Every bank account. Every banks don't lie. Hospitals won't lie. Court order won't lie. I would go to jail if this is duplicated. If this is forged. I know what it is. I will go to jail if I forge this. Everything is here. The court, you see this, they said, and he also said that he was the one that took me to court. Now, they say, Tonto Dikeh, plaintiff, applicant. What does that mean? I was the one who took him to court. I was suing him to court because he does not pay child support, because he had a document of my son I needed back, because he was not paying school fees. Nothing. That's why I took him to court. And it's the first line. Read it. They say, an order granting the custody of their child, King Andre Omodayo Aigo, born on the 17th day of February 2016 to the plaintiff. Please, who is the plaintiff? Tonto Dikeh is the plaintiff. My son, I was awarded custody of my son. This man, if you go through these documents, this man he was given very strict supervision. Very strict supervised visitation for my son. The only time this man can see or be close to my child is when and if I put someone on ground that I can trust. So if there is nobody that I can trust, this man would not go close to my child. Because as the matter is, I cannot trust my nannies, because my nannies do not know what is going on. My nannies will not be able to look at what to look at or look for, because it can just be a thread this man will pull and put on my son's hair. It might even be a finger to put in my son's mouth. It might be anything just to jeopardize my happiness with my son. He would do it. And that is why when I presented, the court does not admit diabolism. But the strength of the accusation I brought as diabolic, of his diabolic this thing, was so strong that the court had to put that order. Before you see your son, your wife must give you somebody. In fact, your son must be brought to you by somebody that she can only trust. I've never found that person. Now, talking about that, this man said that he does things for my son. Between when I was his wife to when I left him, these are the only things Olakule Churchill ever bought for his son. This is a nightgown. It's a pyjama shirt. It's a similar one. This is it. This is the top. 2 trousers, 1 top. This pendant. Look at it. And this. These are the only thing a 37-year-old man have bought for his child from birth to date. And Olakule Churchill, I'm putting it to you. If you have any other receipts of anything that you say that you've bought for your son, bring it out. And you better be sure that those things are with me. You better be sure that those things are with your son. Because he lied that he bought my son a car when I left him, just to show people that, oh, I get money. You said you bought your son a car. What was that car again? I think it was I can't remember, but it was GLC, something like GMC. Yes, the GMC. You say you bought your son a GMC. There's no GMC anywhere. You bought you use your fraud money to buy cars so you can ship your money into Nigeria, sell the car, and you got your money. You say you bought my son a car. Well, I live with my son. I see my son every day of his life. To the pin in his hair, to, he's not a girl, so he doesn't have a pin on his hair. But whatever. From his head to his toe, I am responsible for my son. I cater for that boy. And I don't disturb you for money, because, you see, the truth is that some people have asked me, oh, why don't you take him back to court because he's not paying child support? The truth is, I want to be selfish. With my son, I'm very selfish. If this man starts to pay child support on a regular basis, he would have access to my child. So for him to not pay gives me the leverage to change my son's name to what I want, because I am now the father and the mother to my son. And it's okay, like I told you, I've been broke before. I still get broke till today. Okay, so it's okay that you're broke and you cannot afford for your son. But then, can't you call your son? My son's birthday, he went and he wrote some emotional crap. Boom. I was sitting down, my best friend was with me throughout my party for my son. Nobody ever had a call from this man to say, let me wish my son a happy birthday. But you go on social media to chase the clouds, telling them that God is going to bring you and your son together. Who took your son away in the first place from you? Which woman, born a woman on earth, has the guts to keep away a child, a son for that matter, from a man who pays bills, who born you well as a woman? My son's name is Dikeh for now. It's not going to be Dikeh forever. I will get married, my son's name will change. If I'm changing my name tomorrow, it will change. It would never answer his father's name as long as I live on this earth and as long as you're not doing your duties, which is making my job very easy. Like I said, these are the only things he bought for his child. 1, 2, 3, set of nightgown. This is the pendant that this man said is 10,000 euro. Look at it. 10,000 euro for this. He said it in his last interview 3 days ago. He said he bought a one-of-a-kind necklace, bracelet, whatever. Said this is the 80,000 euro, something like that. Let me check the internet.
I bought my son a diamond pendant, Kingandri, like with the 3 diamonds. You know, very expensive. Well, I got it for like, I think, 8,400 euro.
This is it. This is it. And that. Only. Well, the truth is, if I were to write a letter to myself for 10 years ago, self, the first thing I would do is I would really cry on that paper. I would cry. 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 And the only thing I'm going to write is I love you. Because I think that's the only thing I've ever wanted to hear. If I had so much love in my life, if I had love from my family, if I had real friends, I wouldn't have made a lot of mistakes. So, if I was to write a letter to myself, I'd say, Tonto, I love you. Because I know that is all she needs to know. And that's all she needs to. Or she would.
The video of the recent interview 2 days ago that Tonto granted, and where she was alleging that the husband is holding on to the child's traveling documents. Remember, she had that child in America here. So, and of course, as the father, he has the legal right to hold some of the documents, just as she too has a right to the documents. Now, let me quickly point out her highlights in that video. Number one, she said she was in court, and it was a time that she felt so happy that the child was going to see the father after a long time. And I am surprised because I thought she has changed the child's name. She shouldn't bother about that child seeing the father or not seeing the father again. There are some decisions when you make it, you need to think of the impact. I'm going to be bringing out the light, analyzing a little bit. Then you can tell me your opinion. So if you want a father to be in the child's life, you don't change the name. That is, I feel, number one mistake she made by changing that child's name. You changed the child's name, and you were eager to make that the child wants to see the father. Anyway, so she said that was one of the pains she went through when they got to court and Churchill didn't show up, because Churchill wanted her to pay for transport to bring him to the court, and he never showed up at the end of the day. She also said that the guy is used to her paying bills. That I remember I saw one of the last video that she granted some times ago, where she said everything she was showing when they were dating was bought by her, and it was all a show off. It wasn't the real story that she was making the world to believe. And that is why I tell you, never envy anybody. Don't you ever, as a young person, you don't have reason to envy a life you don't know. People live lies, people live deception. Me, I am as real as can be. Look at my birthday 2 days ago. I was in my tracksuit. Okay, because the time does not permit me to start dressing up and taking picture. Okay, I was supposed to take picture, but I have other pressing, more important demand to use my money for. And like I always tell you, I look at priorities when I'm spending money. And I told the photographer and makeup person, don't come again. My friend was like, won't you take a photograph for your birthday? I said, what is it going to bring back to me? That is how I am. I don't care what people think about me. I live my truths. I'm not ready to start explaining and embarrassing myself in public when I'm busted, just like Tonto did when she was busted, and she said all those things were just makeup that she was bringing out. All for what? All for love. Now, she also mentioned that Churchill was given strict instruction. He has to be under strict supervision before he can see his own child. And I think it's one of the reasons Churchill kept away. That, okay, if I have to. And her reason is that she feels Churchill is diabolic. She said while she was living with him, she saw some diabolical material with him. But of course, she said the court threw that away, that nothing diabolic is applicable in court of law. But she has a right to say, I don't want him close to my child without supervision. Churchill can do the same thing too. They both have that legal right on that child. So, but of course, the child is in her custody. She has changed the name and everything. She also mentioned that the Churchill has never bought anything for that boy, save pajamas, photograph, and chain. You saw it in that video. And that kind of shocked me. That so while she was pregnant, while they were together, the guy was not spending any money or what? That is what she said, but it baffles me. Is that possible? I am not saying she's lying. Honestly, I feel for her. Hearing her voice, you can see the pain. You can hear the pain in her voice. That's why her voice is shaking. She also said, and she kept emphasizing that the guy is fraudulent, even in this video. She also said that the Churchill never pay child support. And she purposely doesn't want to ask him for child support because he will have access to the child, and she doesn't want that. That's what she said in her word. So she also said that she's upset that Churchill said that the child will one day come back to him, which is a reality. Because I'm sure even by now, she's under pressure. The boy is 7 years old. The boy is beginning to understand some things. A time will come, either she likes it or not, the child will find his father out. And this is the age of internet. People will talk. The boy will find himself, look for information on his own. Especially by the time he gets to know the hospital he was giving birth to, where he was giving birth to, all he needs to do is to type it and everything will come out. So I remember a few days ago or yesterday, I was looking for information about something. And I got an information that somebody has been keeping away from me for the past 2 years. I saw it on the internet. Okay. And it was something that the person lied about. So I was able to get the truth on the internet. Google is your friend. So I'm sure that boy will use Google when it is time. She also mentioned that she will continue to she will change the name of that child. That presently that boy is bearing Dikeh, Tonto. That by the time she gets married to another man, she's going to change that boy's name to the man's name. I wonder why you want to put that stress, why you want to do that to your own child. This is my own opinion, is our opinion. But for others that might want to think this is the right way, there are some things you will do that will boomerang with you, that will boomerang straight to your face later in life. Let me quickly chip this in that Churchill, Tonto's ex-husband, is married to somebody Tonto knows as a family friend. And for any woman, that hurts bad. That will hurt so bad that will make the woman misbehave and take some erratic decision. Changing a child's name too many times. Initially, the boy was Churchill. Presently, she is King Tonto. She said if she gets married tomorrow, she might likely change the boy's name again. So that will be the third time. What if that marriage breaks? Will she continue to change the boy's name until the boy becomes an adult? If you ask me, I don't know your opinion, but if you ask me, I think so. Tonto Dikeh needs help. She needs help, and from what she said in that video, she said she has never, because you saw her breakdown in that video, that she lacks love, even from friends, from family. I don't know her childhood, I don't know her upbringing, but from what she said, she needs help. You don't keep changing a child's name anyhow like that. And one thing, I feel for that boy more than both of them. Honestly, I don't feel for Tonto so much. I feel for Tonto because she's a woman, okay, that fell in love probably with somebody that is not meant to be. And I know how it hurts. Or she couldn't manage the relationship, or both of them could not manage the relationship. It will definitely hurt. Break up hurts. It doesn't matter how it comes. It doesn't matter from who it comes. Break up odds. So now I'm looking out for this boy. Depriving a child of the father love just because you are fighting or you have issues, honestly, you are indirectly hurting yourself and hurting that child. There is something they call co-parenting. If you fall apart, they do it not for any other reason, because of the child to have a balanced love. A mother cannot provide all the love a child needs. It doesn't matter if your husband is alive or he's dead. It doesn't matter if he's an ex or is present in that home. A child needs a balanced love. They need the love of a father, and they need the love of a mother, because the love of a father is not the same as the mother, just like the mother's own is not the same as the father's own. We are talking about a boy now who will need a mentor at a point in his life. Remember, at a point, Popogiri was, what's that guy's name? I think it's Popogiri. Popogiri was in Tonto's life. They ended up in a very bad state as well, too, when they broke up. Now, this is a man. I don't know why people close to Tonto and Churchill, or maybe they are talking to Churchill and Tonto is the one not responding, or they are talking to Tonto, Churchill is, I don't know what is going on between them. Why they cannot reach a compromise and come to an agreement to take care of this child and put their differences apart. But Tonto, from what I have seen, is not ready to let that child have anything to do with the father, and she's not doing that child any good. Now to go to Rose. This is Rose, the present wife. Let's talk about Rose and the relationship Rose has with Churchill. I'm not blaming Tonto in all totality, neither am I blaming Churchill in all totality. Something must have made the two of them to say, I'm not doing anymore, which is fine. But I'm just concerned for that child in that relationship. Now, Churchill got married again. Of course, I always say it. Women are more at receiving end when things like this happen. It is easy for a man to move on and to start another relationship. It is never that easy for a woman. So don't deceive yourself. So Churchill got married again to Rose, and not too long, he had another child. And the beauty of it is that the two children, the one from Tonto and the one from Rose, are just so identical. And this is a man that Tonto called a 42nd man, showing that it is not how long or how big something is, or how long a man, all it takes is just one ejaculation for a woman to be pregnant. And what baffles me is that this same marriage that wasn't working, what is Rose doing differently? Or could it mean Churchill never loved Tonto? Could it mean, I don't know. From my own perception, from my own opinion, I feel Tonto needs help. She needs the love of people around her too. Probably she might need to go for therapy or something, and counseling. Definitely she needs to heal from a lot of hurt that is coming from her past. Maybe from her childhood, something that was wrong somewhere, and I think she's still carrying that shadow till now. I feel so much for her because I know what it is to have childhood pains. I was there. And I trust me, I just got out of it not too long. I was already in my 50s before I got out of it. And I will not tell you I'm out of it completely. I am still in the process. But one thing I have decided is that I will not let my past to determine my future or my present. Okay? I try to handle it as much as I can, not allowing it to affect even my children. Because sometimes your past comes into you to haunt you, to affect even the family you are building. So there are some past you have to be very careful. I'm glad that in Nigeria now we have therapists that people can go to for counseling on how to heal from the pain of the past, because pain of the past damages things if you don't handle it well. So I that's what I feel. I don't know what you think. I feel so much for Tonto. I see keeping Churchill away from that child will only hurt that child and even be hurting her too. She might not know. You might say, how will you have a child and you see the father singing the praises of the other wife and the other child all the time, meanwhile your own child is treated like it never existed? Even though Churchill celebrates his child once in a while, but it is never the same thing like that child calling daddy. It is never the same thing like that child having a dance with his dad, having a football game with his dad, having a throw punches game with a dad. It is not the same. Like the dad teaching that child what it is to be a man. Tonto cannot do it. No other man can do it the way Churchill will do it. Even if she gets married to another man today, there is no guarantee. So I don't know what you think concerning this video. You want to pen your thoughts down. Maybe somebody is going through this and doesn't know what to do. Maybe they will see this video. Maybe they will read your comments. We hurt differently. We heal differently. But definitely there are some things that are just principles of getting out of pains that is almost similar to most pains we go through in life. Thanks for watching. I remain yours, Real Talk with Auntie Adunni. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to kindly click the like button, please, on this video, and leave a comment. Till I come your way again. Take care and stay blessed.